One of the things that I can't get my head around is that it makes really brilliant business sense to run a really happy ship. So if the leader at the top says, listen, not on my watch, and actually this is going to be the culture here, you're going to be head and shoulders or streets ahead of the competition. Why hasn't a leader sat down and said, you know what, I'm going to employ a team to ensure that the culture of this organisation is absolutely vital. We'll attract the best talent, we'll have the most effective workforce, we'll do the most creative work, we'll be the most efficient, and we'll make the most money and grab the most market share.
The bigger your organisation is, the more skeletons you've got in your closet, right? And I think it's probably, as a leader of a big organisation, it's a wonderful, very bold move to try to bring all of that out in the open, because you never know what you're going to dig up, who you're going to lose, and what kind of catastrophes you're going to have whilst that process is in place. And so I think, absolutely, it makes 100% business sense to do all of these things, but you can see why people aren't doing it. It's not the justification.
No.
But you can see that it's a very difficult move.
But are women at fault with this? Because again, the BBC issue, should the women have made a stronger case and made the demands?
You mean for equal pay?
For equal pay, the fact that they live with that. And that was shocking to me, because again, this insistence, no, it's all equal, it's all, we're all just being neurotic and paranoid about this. Now, if women like that, the Emily Maitlisses, these are really amazing women, and yet they're not getting a fair crack. But it does come back, I'm convinced, role models, education, mentoring. I think it's terrifically powerful. I never had the benefit of that in my education. I just had no idea, no career advice. I had no obvious way into aviation. You couldn't join the military, they wouldn't take female as pilots. It was still that culture of, hotel reception. I practically left and became a waitress as well as other things, but it was not an obvious career path if you weren't going to university, etc. Do you know what? I wish I'd understood more about history. My background is literature and history, and that's what I was passionately interested in. But history is written by white males. That's the nature of it. So that's what you get. If I'd read more about these figures earlier, it would have given me an entirely different slant on the whole thing. And that's sort of what I try to take when I go into schools now, is to say, you know what, this is what's out there. And unless we start grabbing these opportunities for ourselves, we will never achieve the financial independence. If women want the lifestyle, it's about financial independence. And that's the key to this.
When you start talking to girls and young women about it, what is the reception that you get when you start to explain that actually this is possible, people have done it before? What's their reaction?
They're electrified by it.
Right. Because suddenly there's possible.
Yeah, it's electrifying to me to read what they achieved. So to sort of take it and say, you know what, to come from nothing, to drag yourselves up by your bootstrings, take the risks, live dangerously, make brave decisions. That's the only way you're going to crack out of this, if you want to fully realise your potential. But you're not alone. This is what happened in history. This is the struggle, And
in Western culture, though, you're fighting Disney on this, princess culture, because kids grow up and there is a narrative presented and girls get looked after.
And the really insidious thing is that in every woman there is the desire for that, the romance, to be looked after, to be cared for. That's completely natural.
But it's not the only thing.
It isn't the only thing, and that's the point, isn't it?
But that's a gender-neutral thing. Men have that if they admit it.
Yeah, but it's terrible that we have to see this as a kind of weakness. And I think that's the dichotomy for women. How do they reconcile these elements in their life? So whether it's you're seen as an aggressive woman, an ambitious woman, these are qualities that are admired and encouraged in men.